Hey guys, Omerko here, self-taught web developer. In my last video we created a server with Node.js, and in today's video we will create a server with Express.js, a Node.js framework basically. So today you will see what is Express.js, also how could you easily set up Express.js, and the main stuff, how could you run a server and serve files through Express.js to a front-end side. So let's just jump into code and explore it. Okay, so here we are at express.js.com. So this is the official website of Express.js. So first of all, what is Express.js? Express.js is basically just a web framework for Node.js. So what does that mean? So Express.js will offer us a bunch of different functionalities and methods that we could run instead of doing those on our own, right? So mostly you will use Express.js in your project, especially on bigger projects, right? So basically you will mostly use frameworks for each of your main languages. Like for example, you will use a Laravel for PHP, right? There is a rare case where you would code raw PHP just for your website, especially for a bigger applications, right? So here also we won't use Node.js, as that will be the rare case. We will use Express.js. So first of all, we need to install Express.js. So if you go here on getting started in navigation and go to installing, there you could see how you could install Express.js. So first of all, you must make sure that you are in the right folder, well, in the folder that you are currently working on. And we will run this script like npm init. So first we must initialize our package.json file, which is the file that will store all of our modules that we will use. So one of those modules will be Express.js. After that point, you could just run this script here, npm install express save, right? And it will install the Express.js into your project and save it in package.json file. So we will do just that now. So as you could see, I am in my Visual Studio Code and I don't have any files for now. So I will create now app.js file, and that will be our main file to run our server and serve files also. So app.js. So as you saw on Express.js official website, we must first initialize our project with npm. So I will go into the terminal and I'm making sure that I am in my folder here. So I will run a npm init. So we will be asked a couple of questions here, but you could just go enter through all of those, and in the end it will ask you to confirm it. We will just go enter, and as you could see, we have a new file, package.json, right? So that new file, if I open it, you could see that we have some of the stuff inside. Well, basically the stuff that we got asked right now. So now when we initialized our project with npm, we could run our Express.js, install our Express.js into our project, right? So I will run npm install express and --save. So it will install our module for Express.js. After it's finished, so you could see that there is no problems, and we have this node modules folder now, which is the folder that that will have all of our modules that we are using, and there is a package lock JSON file with all the dependencies that we currently have in node modules, right? So we won't lost much time on this. We will go immediately on our app.js and start coding. So first of all, we must import that Express.js, right, framework. So I will add a const of express, and I will set it to be equal to require, and just usual import in Node.js, right, express. So next, we are currently not using Express yet. We are just importing that module. So to use Express, to tell to our app to use Express, we must initialize our app. So I will just create a constant of app and set it to be equal to express as a method with those brackets, right? And now we are using Express.js. So to run a server, we will also need a port. So I will create a constant for port and set it to be equal to 3000. And now we are fully ready to run our server. So I will use that app that we initialized up here, and on that app I will have a bunch of different methods. I will use something called listen, right? Similar as in Node.js. So on listen, I will first pass my port that I have above, and as a second argument I will set my callback. And that callback won't do much, just a console log, console.log server is running on port and plus our port, right? So now I could go to my terminal and run node app.js, and we have this log of server is running on port 3000. If we go to our localhost now, here I will type localhost of 3000. There will be nothing as we didn't set any route yet. So to set up the route, I will go back to code, and here I will use app again and set it to like a get method, and there I must pass two parameters. One is the route name, and as it is the first page we will just set slash to it. And for a second parameter we will pass like a callback function that has like request and response. So to use those we will use our arrow function, and here we will just set our response and use send method, which will send something to our local host, and we will type hello world. So that's cool. Port is still running, but I don't think that this will work, as we probably must, yes, we must restart our server. So I control C to close it down, and again same script to run it. So now when I go back and refresh the page, there it is, our hello world from our starting route, right? So to send a file instead of just plain text, as you remembered, we had to write headers to do those and stuff like that, but Express is doing those for us. So instead of sending hello world, I will delete this, and by response, if I go dot, I will have something not send but send file, and if I use that, I can just pass my file that I have. Currently we don't have any, so we will create a file, for example here index.html. That HTML file will be HTML5. Let's change title, Express.js server, for example, and here we will just set h1 of hello world, right? So now that we could send our file back to frontend. So I will just type index.html. So now we should get some issue, and we will resolve that very fast. So we will first stop our server from running and run it again. And if we do that, if I go back to our localhost 3000, if I refresh the page, you will see the path must be absolute or specify route to response send file. So what does that mean? You see, you must specify where this index.html is coming from. So by default, Express.js doesn't know where it is coming from, right? Is it from this folder or the folder before, right? Or some folder inside of this folder. So we must use one more method on our app, and it will be use method. And in the use method, we will pass something called express.static. So this static is a method, and this will help us to run our static files on our server, right? So by this here we just need to pass our path. So for me, as my index.html is in the same folder as app.js, I will just use dot and slash. If you're using the some folder, you could for example public, you will just type public here, and that should do the work, right? So dot and slash. So for me, So if I restart my server again, run it again, and I go back, refresh, there it is, hello world is here. So now, if I go back to index.html and I type some lorem ipsum text, right? Save that file, come back to browser and refresh. There it is, our server is successfully running. Okay, so I hope that you learned something new, so make sure to be subscribed to our channel as there will be much more videos in the future. Thank you and see you in the next one.